welcome back to another episode. And the other day I was just experimenting with TouchDesigner and tried to create some different effects using shapes and displacements, and trying to sort of create an animation in a sort of simple way, like this. And it's just it's relatively small algorithm I've got going on here. What I'm using to animate this is a chop2 LFO, and that's just fed into the rotate, and I've got a couple ramps here to give a sort of textured, sort of trippy colouring to the rectangles as they're moving along. So I'm going to show you how to do this now. If you haven't already, please hit that like and subscribe button. It really helps grow this channel. I want to keep learning and sharing, TouchDesigner effects with you. So if you like and subscribe, and you can stay along for the journey. And yeah, so right now we're going to just basically delete this and start again. And okay, so let's start off with a ramp. And here we're going to use this function here for the type to create a radial effect. Actually, I think we're going to go for a circular. And here we can select our colors. It can be anything you want really, but we're going to just play around with this. Maybe a nice cool colors today. You can play around with this until you get your desired effects, but I quite like what this is doing here. Oh, peeking under the cover there. Now we use another ramp here, and with this we can choose a radial, and on the phase, if we use a Python expression, that's abs time.seconds, and that's going to create an animation with this ramp. This expression is can be accessed if you just click on here and drop down to here, and you can use this inbuilt Python expression. So with these two, now I want to combine them using a displace. Just put that one in there and that in here. Now, at this point, I think it's good if we use a null, so we can click Alt, and that would automatically provide us with a null. Just bring that over here. And the reason for doing this is just because we want to set this one to our background, so we can rename this BG, and we can set this to a background. And if we don't do that, then it becomes really annoying to keep on having to reset your background. Just try not doing it, and you'll see how annoying that gets. So here I'm just setting the resolution to our desired resolution, and checking over here that's fine. And okay, so now that we've got this, let's go over to our displace and set both the offsets to 0.5 and the displace weight to 0.7 on both of them. Actually, let's do it the proper way. If we go down here and just hold the middle button and go down. Now we're just going to add a rectangle. For this one, I quite like the square, so I think I might just keep that as it is. And for the size, I think we're just going to go down to a 0.4 and we're going to use a composite to basically join these together. And now we have this. One day I'll figure out the shortcut to the resolution, but for now I just have to keep doing that. But so we've got our square here, and we need to animate this now. So if we go over to our chops, which has all our data channel operators, I think we're going to choose a nice LFO to sort of have this sort of rotating, ticking sort of function. And for this, we can set our LFO here with a lag. And the lag basically gives it a little bit more of a Bezier curve to the way it's LFOing or ticking back and forth. It will sort of, slow it down a little bit. So it can create a little bit more of a natural effect rather than just a straightforward ticking back and forth. And so I've added a lag, and now with a math chop, we can go over to our range, and I think we'll set this to a 0.009, and after this hit the Alt N, that's Alt N, and now we can use this information here for our rotate here as a chop reference, like that. So that's spinning back and forth here, and if we go over to the frequency, we can even speed this up or slow this down. I think that looks kind of cool. So now, once we've got that on here, the composite, let me just check that set to multiply. Yeah, that's right. And from now we want to basically try and duplicate this on the page so that there's more than one. Let's try putting a transform here, which is it's got a nice function here that you can tile. So if you go over tile and set it to repeat, and then when you scale out, look at that. That's really cool, isn't it? I love this effect. So we've just turned a simple square into something a little bit more interesting. And now we've got this alpha or see-through transparent background here with the checkers. So we need to solve this first, but I think whilst we're on the transform, let's get a little bit of movement going, and we can use an expression here with our trusty abs time dot seconds, and we're going to divide it by 10 on this one. And for this one, just copy and paste that down to the TY axis, and so that we have it going diagonally. I mean, you can play around with this however you want, but I think this this is nice for the effect that I'm trying to go for. And what's fun about this is that you can also change, the size of these. You can create different effects. Very, very nice and easy. And now, so to get rid of this, or to add a background really, so we want to press tab and go for a constant, and this constant will allow us to create a background. So here we're just going to click black, nice and easy, or you can just change them to zeros, making sure that the alpha is on 1. and then we can use an over, which is it's a type of a composite, which will allow us to put the visuals over a black background, and then we can use our background here. We can just join it up to a null. There we go. Very trippy. Very, very trippy. What's next? What's next? I mean, we're basically done. The only thing I would like to add to this is a little bit more of an idiosyncratic, or something with a little bit more of imperfection, just to give it sort of a CTR effect. That's what I'm sort of going for. So I want to bring in an LFO chop, put that onto Pulse. I mean, you could just copy and paste this. See, it might have just been quicker just to do it the normal way. There we go. So we have that in here. Let's see what this is going to do. Let's see what this is going to do. So if we add in here a displacement, if I can spell, bring that in here, and then we need to try and convert this data into top data, so we can use a chop to. Bring that in here. Oh, wrong one. Sorry, bring that over here as a null. And then we can use this. Wowzers. Just going all crazy. So we can play around with the settings. If we set, I think that's fine, but I think this is where the issue is on the range. If we put a 0.5, no, sorry, a 0 to 1, and then a 0.5 to 1. There we go. It just adds, I don't know, a little bit of something else. That's just, yeah, it just adds a little bit more of an imperfection in there, just to get a bit of movement. That could, you could sync this up to your kick drum, or or the snare, and have this synced into your frames per second, so you could match this to the tempo. Sorry, I use frames per second here, but if you want to match those two, so it's the right amount of frames per second per tempo. And then when you are looking at your LFO, you've got your frequency set to 1, so that's how you know that it's going back and forth in the right, in a syncopated way. And then you can use different frequencies in a mathematical way. So if you do 0.5, that would make sense. Or if you've got a 3/4 timing, you can probably do 0.75. So you can sync this up with your drums in a way that's syncopated, rather than just using Ableton information. But yeah, I think it's a nice effect, and what you can do with this as well, which I sort of was peeking under the cover here a little bit, but I think what I can show you is you can actually put these visuals inside a container like a base. So if you press tab and you go over to components, and you can put this into a base here, and this is what I've started to do now on every project. I work inside a base. So I think the best thing to do would be to if I zoom out, I put everything inside this base, and you can call this what you want, visual 1, and you can save this as a component. So I've now got used to just using an untitled project and just having a bunch of components, and you can put your component, everything inside this component here, and then at the end, if you add an out, simply add an out, and then you zoom back out, now you can see there's a little top output here. So now, what's really interesting is you can have a simple setup here, connected to a slider, which isn't working right now, but there we go. And you could probably set this to a macro, MIDI channeled somehow, which I need to discover how to do. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Definitely hit the like and subscribe and leave a comment down below. I'm going to be doing more content like this, so head over to my website as well, sinusstudio.com, where I will be sharing lots more information like this, and stay tuned for future updates. Thank you very much.